In this video, I'm going to explain exactly how to generate a repeatable cash injection every 6 to 12 weeks without doing 3D challenges, 12-step funnels, paid ads, or creating more work for yourself. Now, the problem. Low-ticket products drain energy, they require massive volume for you to be able to hit big numbers, and most offers don't fail because of content. They tend to fail specifically because of poor positioning and delivery of the result. The way in which you are framing your offer, the result that it gives to clients, the people who are paying you money, it's going to make a big difference depending on the language that you choose and how you convey that information. That result is what your buyer is paying for, so the promise has to hit really hard if you want that consistent cash flow from your audience every single time that you're posting. If you already delivered client results and you want more cash flow without hiring or registering another domain, you're gonna love this. But let me just say, if you don't have any social proof, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I've got something for you at the end of this video. We've got 3 pieces, all right? We're only gonna focus on 2 at the moment. Number 1 core transformation offer. So that's a high ticket offer. Number 2, 1 back-end growth offer. It could be like a done for you or a mastermind or something like that, but we're just going to skip that for today. And then number 3, 1 Evergreen Micro-Offer. All right. And the focus there is a cash injection or a warm-up offer. So a micro offer has to solve one specific pain point before the core offer. And you can deliver this with Google Docs, Notion, or a simple Loom video. It's up to you. And if you've helped clients before, it shouldn't be that difficult for you to be able to isolate a small, meaningful win for your avatar. So if you're unsure, you can go ahead and grab the $1 million offer map that I have. It's inside of the 0 to 10K playbook, and it does show exactly how to slice out part of the transformation and then turn that into cash. But the reason why it works is because it allows you to use the skills that you already have. You're selling what you know. And so that intellectual property is still something that you are leveraging, and then you're generating cash flow from that. It also helps reinforce and build belief because you're giving fast, small wins to your audience, right? These people who you've been nurturing for a very long time, and some of them are on the fence or just simply lurking in, lurking at your content and lurking on your profile. Also, it helps convert, and it's really easy, especially if you're selling via chat or in DM. So you don't need any new funnels. You don't have to pay for more software. You don't need a new fancy system or anything like that. And then it is something that you can continue to repeat every 6 to 12 weeks if you need that cash injection or you're looking to hit like a specific income or revenue benchmark. Now, I'll give you a couple examples. So example number 1, I was working with Michael, and essentially it was from his LinkedIn coaching offer, and he was just explaining to people that were his clients, here's how you have conversations with individuals, here are some cues or trigger words, and that's a good signal for you to identify that it's time for you to kind of zoom into that person's pain point. And he ended up selling that specific breakdown, right, as a micro offer just by itself for $497. And so the result is when he ended up selling that, he made a little over $9,000 in just 1 week. And he didn't have to create new content. He didn't need to build a new funnel. He was just leveraging what already existed and zooming in and focusing only on that. Another example was when I was working with Kyrie. He was a cleaning coaching business client. He was really frustrated when we hopped on a one-on-one. He was telling me that his close rate was being impacted negatively because there was this pattern with all the leads that he was talking to. They were sharing the reason why they were choosing not to invest. And I suggested to him, based on what he was sharing, hey, it's really important you show up as a leader and you don't just get upset with these people and tell them to kick rocks, essentially. Oh, you can't afford my program, or oh, you're going to give me these smokescreen objections and I'm just going to accept them. I'm going to roll over. No, I don't think that that's wise. I think that's leaving money on the table, and that doesn't look good for you as a person. And so I advocated for him to step up as a leader, and I suggested that he use that coming weekend as a one-time event micro offer to turn their pain point into an opportunity. I told him offer tickets for it, charge a really low fee for them to join the live Zoom session. That way they can ask you questions in real time and get help, right? You're going to answer those questions for them, and then you can turn the answers and the questions into new content, right? So it becomes this flywheel where it creates a self-perpetuating cycle in a positive way that's beneficial to your company. And it was really easy for him to keep selling that recording as an asset. So the result is he ended up selling the tickets, following my advice, and he made $7,000 in 72 hours. Another example, there was a dating client we had as a dating coaching client, and he really was getting frustrated, starting to hate his business as it was starting to grow and scale. And it goes back to that saying, new levels, new devils. But he was giving a lot of personalized feedback individually inside of Slack to every single client that he was working with and giving them input and feedback on how they were meeting women and the way that they were approaching them and the words that they were choosing to use, the text messages they were sending, etc. And this was actually costing him a lot of time in his personal life because it meant that he couldn't be at the club. He couldn't be focused on whoever his partner was at the time. He couldn't be focused on generating dates, right? So walking the walk and talking the talk. He couldn't focus on that because he needed to focus on delivery. And I asked him, hey, do you have any footage of these encounters or models of scripts or role play situations that you have maybe in your arsenal or your course library? And we could use that asset in order to help these clients, and you just sell it separately as a bolt-on or an add-on where they're expected to go through that material before they end up asking you any questions. And that way, for a fact, they have most of their basic questions already being addressed because you've modeled for them exactly how to do this. And he said yes. And I asked him, hey, listen, if you're not selling that yet, we need to sell that as a micro offer. He followed my advice. We changed that. So the result was he ended up getting more pre-qualified clients. These clients were fully bought into his process, his method, his strategy, and he was able to get his dating life back. And then another example is we had a Airbnb coach prospect kept telling her, oh, I can't afford your services and also afford this property that you're advocating for me to use that I'm going to end up turning into a rental. So I asked her, hey, listen, is it possible we get on the phone? I'm going to ask you a couple questions and then I'll type things out for you and work with you to generate this micro offer, a smaller piece of the puzzle to package up a training that will explain exactly how to get funding and demonstrate for these people that you want to convert, demonstrate tools specifically to verify that, what a quality property looks like and how to find them essentially. And that would make it easier for them to also be properties that will yield a higher return on investment and get rented out, right? So then she ends up getting more social proof and client results because they're happier. They are getting the outcome that they want. And also it feels like she is helping them move the needle. And so they're bought into how her method works, right? A to Z. So we ended up hopping on a one call. We wrote out the micro offer together and her result was that she ended up making 15 sales of $197 in less than 1 week. So 15 sales times 197. You can do the math on that. This is all possible because they ended up selling a solution for a segment of their offer. And ultimately it ends up addressing a specific issue and they give the result that their audience is desperately needing. So you're probably asking yourself, well, how do I build a micro offer? What does that look like? Well, step number one, you need to identify a really high friction pain point that your audience has currently before they start working with you. This is going to be easy for you, especially if you already have social proof, you have expertise, or you know what you're talking about because you have a proven offer or a proven method that you're currently selling. Number two, you want to package a tool or a process that solves that issue. Number three, you're making a bold but a really clear and simple promise. And then number four, deliver it in a simple way. Do not make this complicated. So you can sell it as a PDF, a recording, Google Doc, Notion, Loom, etc. And then number five, you're going to end up promoting this every 6 to 12 weeks and you can rotate the micro offers if you have an arsenal of them or a full library and you're just solving one pain point at a time. And then the flywheel that you end up creating gives you leverage and allows you to unlock time freedom because you don't have to keep replicating yourself. You're selling the asset and you built it one time, right? And you can just keep selling it over and over again. So for those of you who might be watching this video and maybe you don't have an offer at the moment or you're on the fence about building your own offer and you think you're confident about what you might want to sell, but you're not 100% certain, how do I get started or what should I even do? Inside of my private Facebook community, I do share the 0 to 10K playbook and it includes over 390 proven micro offers and guarantees. And that's going to help you move a hell of a lot faster. So you don't have to do any guessing. You're just plugging in the information, focusing on your positioning, and then posting content that's relevant and matches with your expertise, right? Because you only want to sell what you know. So the takeaway here is that the money is already printed. You just need to provide valuable solutions and go collect.